This is Getting Past Subtitles. My name is Sean Peel.
And I'm DK Lee.
And welcome to week 3 of our Coming of Age series. One that I like, but one that I guess we kind of been failing at a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think this one was pretty good. I mean, it's a mix, right? It's a mix of different genres, I think. But overall, I think there are moments where you can say that it is a coming of age.
You're trying really
Who picked
hard.
this, huh?
You.
Did I?
No, I think it was me. But I'm going to put the blame on you. Gaslight you. You did pick it.
We'll see. No, it's okay. I can salvage this.
Hold that L. Hold that
I can
L.
salvage this.
Take that. Yeah, this week we watched Kikujiro, which came out in 2000, directed by Takeshi Kitano, aka Beat Takeshi. If you've watched any of our other episodes, you might be familiar with our boy Beat.
We watched Sonatine, right?
Sonatine, yeah, I think that was the other one.
Yeah.
Which, if you watch Sonatine and like you come back here, there's a lot of it's very kind of parallel.
Yeah.
Like, I think Beat's movies are just kind of the same.
They explore a lot of the same things, right?
Yeah,
Or like same themes, or
but
They
totally
have-
they're the same. Like
they
they
have a
feel the
lot
same.
of similar like motifs and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, what was your kind of impression going in? Did you kind of expect this movie to turn out this particular way, or?
Yeah, I had a feeling after watching Sonatine, yeah, just kind of the vibe and the style that he has
Yeah.
and the character that he plays. And yeah, just a general like idea of the story and what the characters kind of go through and how he resolves those things, and how, you know, like how he
Yeah.
uses like different story beats and moments, and how he kind of creates a more lighthearted like feeling to it,
Yeah.
things like that. I think he has that like quality about him in his works. So
Right.
yeah, I kind of had a good understanding of how to approach the movie going in. Yeah.
I didn't.
No? Really?
I don't know. I actually don't think it clicked that like Beat Takeshi directed this movie too. But once I like realized, oh, this is his movie, I was like, okay, like it's all him. It is funny. It is definitely feels like him trying to make a lighthearted movie, or like a movie, maybe not necessarily for kids, but something that's a little more kid friendly, I guess. It like in the spirit of like that it surrounds a young boy that he's kind of essentially babysitting the whole time, but it feels like it's a movie that he'd want children to see, or that he was making it for like a kid or something. You know what I mean?
I didn't really have the vibe or like the thought that he was making it for somebody specifically. I just thought he was making something that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess so, but
But it's definitely still him. Like, it's definitely
right.
still very... Even his character, I feel like his acting never quite changes.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that same character from Sonatine,
Yeah.
this is like the retired Yakuza version of him, you know? And he's like, I gotta be stuck with this little runt, and I gotta keep things PG-ish, you
Yeah.
know? And so there's a pretty clear kind of carryover in that. It's just like, he's a very kind of quiet character. He's just very like knuckleheaded.
No, he's like a weird character.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. What did you think of the kid in general?
Masao.
Masao.
I didn't really like care for him too much in the beginning. I thought like you just really don't get much out of him. I mean, in the beginning he's just like a really like
At all.
yeah, straight-faced kid in the beginning, and you don't
Yeah.
really know like what he wants per se, and like how to kind of relate to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like his acting's very muted in a lot of ways, and I it might be just the direction that they gave him or something, but
Yeah.
like by the end of the movie, I don't think I really minded that. I kind of like the his like mutedness compared to Kikujiro's like flamboyance and kind of his like, annoying personality,
Right.
and how much more crazy he is compared to the kid,
Yeah.
which is like an interesting dynamic in itself, I think.
Right. Right.
But I liked their dynamic more and more as the movie went on. But I think in the beginning I was kind of like, who cares about these two guys? Like what, like, and his motivation for like, going to like try to find his mom. Like, did he have the full address of the place in the beginning, or did he just have like that town name?
I honestly don't know.
Because I was kind of confused because I thought it was just the town name, and like he just going to that place trying to find his mom, and I was like, okay, how's that gonna happen?
But they just find it instantly.
Yeah, so I maybe they did have the full address, but either way, I think like him like not telling his grandma and just leaving, and the funny part is like Kikujiro's wife also doesn't tell the grandma.
Yeah,
but then they go on a trip for like days, right?
Well, I mean, she does tell the grandma.
They're going to the beach though.
It was supposed to be they pulled a double on the wife, who the wife thought they were just gonna go out for the day. I think.
Oh,
okay. So the
okay.
wife told the grandma like, "Oh, they're just supposed to go out to the beach for the day."
So they screwed over the wife as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but like it's funny because you never get like the wife's reaction to all of this at the end. It's just the story.
She just deleted from the movie.
Yeah, she just gets deleted from the movie. I just thought that was funny, and like how the movie ended, and it was just like, hey, I'm gonna go now. It's like, yeah, bye.
Well, it's funny because like the wife is there as a character, but then once they go out of town and go on their adventure, like even Kikujiro himself like treats his life like he's not married.
Yeah, he like literally treats like his life like he's not married. That's the funny part too. It's like, he like goes around with like the girls like at the bar or whatever, and then and then like he talks about like trying to marry himself's mom.
It's funny. I was watching this.
I'm gonna be your dad. I was like, what, bro?
That was like off kilter. It was like my girlfriend was with me while watching it. She was like, "Isn't he married?" And I was like, "Well, at least you still remember."
Yeah, that's quite funny.
Call me dad.
But I kind of like that about him though. Like just like the fact that he just does not give a crap about anything.
It's his life.
Yeah, he's just moving forward with everything.
He's just chilling.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see her reaction to all of it. That's that. I know like if they put it in, it might kind of be like too much, but it was such a like it was so much of something that I wanted to see. It was like how she reacts to this whole escapade that they had.
Well, it's because when they're together, him and his wife, the wife is leading the interactions.
Yeah,
in the scene,
he's basically like chained.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be interesting to go back to that. And how does she respond to his actions?
Yeah.
Like. You let your pet off the leash and you want to go rampage and you're like, you son of a gun.
The dog finally came back home kind of thing.
Go back to your cage.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. I don't it actually felt like there was like it was gonna go back to like an epilogue kind of scene, I felt like, but it didn't. It just
at the end?
Yeah. They just made it back to Tokyo and then it sort of ends there, essentially.
I think that's fine. I like the name drop at the end too.
Right.
Like, what's your name? How do you not know my name?
How do you not know my name, bro?
Yeah,
we spent a whole week together.
But so it was possible to get there in one day?
I guess because they didn't know where they were going the whole time.
Right.
They were. It was literally like, what? So
he spent all the money, right?
He did.
On
so
horse racing.
They were just hitchhiking the whole time.
No, it was bike racing.
Yeah,
that was horse. Bike racing.
It was bike racing. So like the whole movie was them being hitchhikers, and every ride they tried to get didn't get them to where they wanted to go, or kick them out of their ride. So they were just kind of in a limbo state the entire movie. But I was like, what was the kickoff for them? Because they were supposed to hang out at the beach all day, but they didn't. And then he just wanted to go meet his mom. Like that was the whole kickoff. Essentially, it was like,
basically,
we'll go find your mom.
His mom.
Yeah. So, like the whole delay of the movie was that. I don't think it's the fact that they got lost. It's the fact that they just straight up couldn't get there.
Yeah. They're just wandering around. After they got broke.
Because once they, like we said, once he got to the town, the like they went to the house immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no problem.
Yeah, it was just getting to that town.
Yeah.
Basically. Which, I guess we could talk about that. What did you when we finally got to? Because like that's pretty much the midpoint once they finally reached the mother's house,
Right.
and then that's the reveal that she just has a whole new life now, essentially.
Yeah. So that's also kind of like interesting because, like, the whole reason why Masao decides to, go see his mom, he gets like a box from his mom or something, no, in the beginning, like some kind of like, the grandma's like, oh, like, what is that? And like Masao's like looking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and he finds the pictures.
Yeah, he finds the pictures, and that's kind of like what incites him to want to like go see his mom.
Yeah.
So like that was given. Was that like the mom gave that to him, right? Like she's like sent it like post, or was it just like there at the home? I don't quite remember, but like
because I don't remember him opening the package either.
Oh, was he not opening? Because didn't like he get a package from the mailman or whatever?
He did. Yeah, he was. So he was.
Was that like completely a different thing? Was that not from his mom?
I think that might have been a different thing.
Okay.
Because I think it was maybe the pictures that inspired him to go after his mom.
Okay.
Because he went to go find something to sign for the package.
And then he saw the pictures.
He saw the pictures on the dresser or whatever.
Okay.
And then when he picked up the package, he took the picture and he was just like looking at all the pictures and stuff.
Okay.
And I think that's what.
Because I thought that the mom had like sent him some kind of like gift or whatever, like some kind of package, not necessarily a gift.
Yeah.
And that's why he was like, oh, I thought that's why he knew the address as well. Because like the package would have like said like where it's from, or whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever. That's a moot point then, because then if that was the case, now I'd be like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like she has a whole new life and she's like sending him stuff.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
She could, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that she can't, but it's just kind of like it's like
she would have wanted to see him or something.
Or she at the end when he finally gets there, she kind of feels like she's completely like, I'm living my own life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so like the fact that she even gave him some kind of package would have been weird, I feel like.
Right.
But if that's not the case, then yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's not that much of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mother. Yeah. This is the part that I think that moment is the part where I feel like the movie kind of has that coming of age moment. For the kid, for Masao.
Right.
And not necessarily just like that moment itself too, but I think at the end of the journey when he comes back home, he kind of has maybe like not grown in the literal sense, but kind of grown in the sense of like finding peace with the mother, like that whole situation. Not necessarily like I'm okay with my mom having left me now, but like just having that experience of like being with Kikujiro and like with all the other guy, like all their people that he met. Yeah. And like that experience having affected him in a certain kind of way.
Right.
And I think it's like a positive like thing that he had, experienced.
Right.
Except for the almost getting molested part. I mean, I guess that kind of grew him up pretty fast as well. But
so wild. I mean, many wild things about this movie.
Right. but like like in general, I think that's kind of the coming of age part. I think that we can squeeze out from this movie. Well, you can kind of make a case that any road trip movie is,
coming as it's a learning experience.
Not necessarily coming of age, but like an internal journey, like a finding yourself sometimes,
right,
kind of thing.
An inward introspective. Yeah.
And it's not the destination, but it was the journey that we had together. You know what I mean? The cliche.
Yeah. This is like taking a toothpaste and we're like rolling it.
That's the cliches we got, right? Like it's the journey along the way.
Yeah, it's
not the destination.
It's not the destination.
Right? The mom, it didn't matter. He has a new dad now. Yes, Kikujiro has the new dad now. And the wife can be the wife. The mom, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, like, if I had to squeeze anything, it would be that. Like, once you get to that midpoint and Kikujiro finds out that she has a whole new life, and like basically Masao's completely cut out of the picture for her is the impression, and then Kikujiro, basically like Masao never meets her like or even sees her in person. Like he just completely takes him left, like takes him left turn and keeps him away from her, and then like the next half of the movie is becoming his dad, and like you said, I think he kind of overcomes it. Obviously, not like physically or time moves on, or even the fact that he's okay with that his mom has moved on. Is that he gets that parental experience through Kikujiro and like everybody that he's met along the way, right? Because from that point on till they go back to Tokyo is them doing foolish stuff. Like it's literally Kikujiro trying to
make him feel better.
The whole time, right? So it's just kind of easing the wounds of this kid, basically.
And the moment when Kikujiro goes to see his own mom, that's a kind of interesting parallel there.
Right. Yeah.
Like
right.
almost like he still has some growing up to do. Like he's still like a child at heart in one way.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still hasn't come to terms with his issues with his mom. and I don't think he still does, even because he gets all the way there and he never sees his mom as well. Like Masao. So it's just a baggage that he's gonna carry on for the rest of his life, I guess.
It's like all projecting. He just straight up projects it onto Masao.
Right. And you kind of wonder, how does that differ from how Masao will live his life? Compared to how Kikujiro had lived his life and how he had turned out, and how like Masao might turn out. You kind of can't, you just kind of you're just wondering about that. I think by the end of the movie, you're like, so he's kind of like the younger him,
basically.
And then
it's weird because it's not like I don't think the lesson is even that Kikujiro. It's obviously clear that he's a younger him. The Masao's the younger him, but Kikujiro is not trying to like make him better than him per se. It's more like he's making him kind of accept what he's accepted earlier as a kid, so that way he can move on as he turns into an adult. I guess because like I said, like Kikujiro goes back to see his mom, obviously never sees her. The whole implication is like he has his own baggage to deal with, but he never has catharsis about it. He never faces the issue. But Masao has experienced that as a child now, and so like, oh, maybe he will turn out better than me than I am right now.
Or not.
Or not,
but yeah.
You want to be a Yakuza kid?
Yeah.
Come on.
He seems like a good kid though, right, Masao? Like he doesn't seem like,
I guess.
At least for now.
He's not. My biggest gripe, I think, with the movie is that if this is a movie about him, like it's really not.
It's not. It's more about Kikujiro, I think.
Yeah. Like in the first third of the movie, it starts with Masao and like summer vacation and like there's no soccer practice and the camera's always on him, and he's like at home and he lives with the grandma. We get his parents' situation and we get Kikujiro and his wife as the side characters. And so it is like his movie in the beginning, but once they go off on the trip, it basically switches the torch to Kikujiro, and I think that's where I was like most like, like
I think he's like more of the active character, right?
Yeah.
Masao is a lot more passive. I think that's why.
Yeah, and I guess fundamentally, like plot wise, it makes sense, and obviously he's the adult, Masao's the kid, and like the adult is like directing the situation. He's like, follow me, child, and like I'll take you to your mom, or like obviously I'm babysitting you, so you have to do what I'm told. But from the narrative perspective, the narrative just switches onto Kikujiro and not Masao after that.
There are moments, in the movie where it is, Masao's point of view,
right?
Like the dream sequences, and stuff like that. That I think I really liked those things, like those moments when you're kind of in the head and in the shoes of Masao and how he is like perceiving the world almost,
Mm.
right? Like when he sees the tattoo on the back and like has that dream about the weird I think the
It's like a devil.
that man again, and
Devil
then
priest.
then that like weird scene, like the red scene, that whole red, like him tied to the pole and
Yep.
all that stuff. Like like watching that, you're like, what the hell does this even mean, right? It's kind of weird, but it's also kind of like you kind of get it in one way. Like you're like, oh, like this kid, like like it's like those kind of dreams sometimes that you have when you don't understand exactly what it means, but like you just have this weird feeling about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that kind of like
Some weird
dream for him, and I like the fact that like we periodically like get those moments with him, and that kind of brings us back to him. When it is like a lot of times Kikujiro, like during the day it's all Kikujiro, and at nighttime
it's
when he's finally gone and sleeping or something, it's like that's when Masao finally like is like, hey, this is my movie.
My movie. I'm having crazy dreams.
Yeah,
I'm tripping balls.
but I like those moments. I liked how they cut it, like how they cut those moments. Like it's not like, oh, it's a dream now, but it's kind of like it like goes into it, and then you just see certain things. It just cuts directly to it, and then like cuts back to other things, and sometimes it cuts back to it. A lot of times, not even just in the dreams, but like a lot of times in the movie itself,
Right.
like he implements stuff like that. It's like we're looking at one thing, and then it goes to something else, and we're like kind of confused as what it is. And then like we get the context later about, oh, this is what it's like, what it is, and stuff like that. Those are kind of nice, I think, in terms of like the pacing for the movie and making it a little more interesting, because I did feel a little like it was very slow paced, the movie at times, and you're just kind of like, okay, can we move on from this sometimes? But then like those kind of intersperse and the cutting and style and the dreams and stuff like that helps with like making it more active. Especially on Masao's side.
Yeah. It gets a little more interesting at times. It is really like slow paced. Because the movie's basically broken into chapter based essentially. Because like you said, they include like there's like little title cards in between. That gives you like a screenshot or something of a future event in which it kind of explains what that means. It feels like if you pull back and you take those like that chapter structure, it makes it feel like
a lot longer.
Not longer, just like the context of the movie is like a road trip journal.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, here's this event that we did. It's like, oh, he got beat up by some Yakuza in the festival,
Yeah.
So it kind of gauges a little bit of interest, where it also makes the movie a little more purposeful, a little bit too. Because like most of the time you're watching it, it's about like these off adventures.
Yeah. I liked also the one thing about the editing is the way that they edited like action scenes or like the lack thereof, right? Like there are moments when like stuff happen and you never see like the actual like the moment happening. You just see like them coming out of it.
I do like,
and I like that because of the fact that you're kind of given Masao's perspective on things, like the way that Masao would have encountered that moment. Because like a lot of times it's like Kikujiro with that pervert man, like he goes into the place, right? He goes back into the bush or whatever, and he beats him up, and then he comes back out, right? Like, and Masao's not in, like he's not actually seeing that, and so in that sense, like we're kind of with Masao in the same way. Like we're not seeing what's happening, right? We're not seeing that. We're like with the encounter with the Yakuza and stuff, like the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You never see him actually fighting them. You just like see him beat up after the fact,
right?
Or stuff like that. Like those are moments where like, Masao's not there either, and we are kind of put in Masao's shoes. And I think that's kind of a neat way of portraying that, like aside from the fact that it's kind of easier to do.
Efficiency. No, I actually do think like in the way that it does that is it's interesting. Like watching it too. Like
Right.
yeah,
Like it puts yourself, it puts the audience in a position where they kind of have to imagine things,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's always a good thing, I think.
yeah. I think most of all, like it just tonally and like with the movie, it adds to like that PG element to it, but also,
That weird like quirkiness of it too.
yeah, like
You know what I mean?
it's a weird bit. It somehow adds like a level of comedy to it in
Yeah.
a strange way.
It
right?
does. It makes it kind of lighter,
Yeah,
but also makes it like this is kind of a weird
yeah.
like it's like that really like thin like line that you kind of don't even realize like it's there, and like you're not sure if this is supposed to be a serious scene or it's supposed to be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lighthearted like
Right.
scene, or like, you know, and then you see him getting beat up and you're like, oh wait, oh he did get beat up. It's like,
right.
you know, it kind of feels like you're not sure what it is exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like that feeling that it gives, you know, that feeling.
Kind of cuts out the suspense. It's very like Wes Anderson almost
Yeah,
in that scene.
yeah,
in the same like quirky.
right.
kind of
It
vibe.
just kind of like cuts to the outcome.
The outcome. Yeah. So, yeah. What is What is all right? What is your favorite like adventure in the movie?
In this movie, I like the fishing stuff, like like fishing for the octopus and fishing for the fish.
He has
and
to act like a fish.
like
It's just
you know, like that moment when you know he reunites with the free-hearted like traveler dude,
Yep.
poet traveler dude, and the bikers,
oh yeah, yeah.
and that moment, you know, when they're kind of bonding together for I don't know, for a few days maybe.
A few days. Yeah.
Yeah, and then them just, you know, cheering Masao up, and like him saying like, "Don't tell him about the angel bell," right? Like it's like, "Hey, don't tell him I stole it from
yeah,
you."
yeah, yeah. That was fucked up. When he like just saw the bike guy, he's like,
I want
"What's that?" He's like, "It's an angel bell." He's like, "Where's it from?" He's like, "I got it from this place." He's like, "Give
From
it
a
to
girl.
Me. From a girl." Yeah, yeah. That's right. It's like a gift. He was like, "I want it. Give it to me." He's like, "No." And he was like, "Give it to me." He's like,
He said like, "Give it to me. I'm gonna take the bike
yeah,
too."
yeah. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna steal it from you." He's like, "No." He's like, "That or I'm gonna steal the bike." He was like, he gave him the ultimatum and gave
Yeah,
up.
like even that moment, like you don't see him taking it, right?
No,
He
yeah, yeah.
he just has it.
And they're off in the distance and just staring at him.
Yeah,
Like,
like those are nice, right? It's like a little quirky, like it turned into a funnier moment, right? Because of that, like them just looking back, and he's just like there looking like dangling the
Right.
bell, and
it was the same thing like when they go to the bus stop and Maso acts like a couple bus drivers. They turn him down, but it's like really polite. It's like, "Oh, it's not in my route. Sorry, I would." And he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to sleep." He's like, "Sorry, but." And then Kikujiro goes to ask him, and he's like, "Hey, take us to this town." He's like, "No, not with that tone." He's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that."
then he throws a rock.
And it
at
does
him.
a rock,
Yeah.
but we don't see him throw the rock,
No,
right?
you
It's
don't.
just like you hear it in the back, you know.
Yeah.
So all that kind of that's yeah, and then it cuts to like he pulls him over,
Yeah.
and they're like having us talk on the side, and they go back. That was random.
Not even a talk. They're like fighting each other. Remember behind the
When they go
truck?
back.
Yeah. That's funny.
That guy. Yeah, there's a lot of funny moments. I like the, I did like the swimming bit when they go to the hotel.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's like he can't swim, and he's just like, like
Yeah.
full circling. And then he's in a hotel room and he's like on top of the table and he's like practicing how to swim. And he's like, it's like this.
Yeah.
That's all hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like Takeshi's a comedy, so like it feels like he hijacks his movie quite a few times. Just like turns it into his.
Yeah, but what
Like-
else are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
At that point, like, you know, you're just going from one place to another.
It's his movie, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's a legit tap dancer, so there's like there's a couple of tap dancing nods in there, which is really neat. But I like that, and I really got a good laugh when they get dropped off in the middle of nowhere, and it's like the one bus stop, but there's no bus that comes through. And their solution was like, "I got a plan," and he acts like he's blind, and he's
Yeah.
like going out in the street like super frenetic.
I like the one where like they're on the street and the cars are passing by and they put the nail
Yeah.
And the
Near
car
the
like
end.
falls and like just peace
Run.
out.
He's like, no, you got wrong spot. Put it 20 centimeters closer. He's like, okay. Poor Maso just gets straight like strung along this whole movie.
Yeah.
He's, poor guy. Poor guy.
It's funny like how Masao like just like whatever order that Kikushiro tells him to do, he just does.
Yeah.
Like,
just-
there's like that moment where like they're trying to steal that poet guy's truck in the very beginning.
Oh,
And he's like, "Yo, go get me another nail." And then
This
like
isn't
you
gonna
zoom
work,
out
yeah.
to him like looking at him. But like Masa doesn't have any hesitation. He's just like, "Yeah, I'll go get it."
yeah, just straight up being strung along. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has no judgment for himself. Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of like there's a lot of like just. It's weird, but it is funny.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the kind of comedy. it
It's
is.
like wholesome too, I think. Like,
Yeah,
especially near the end when the bikers and the poet guys are together and
Yeah,
they're like
That's good
doing all
stuff.
the funny stuff for Masao.
they leave that guy in the woods.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm gonna bring him out here. You're gonna act like you're an alien from space.
Yeah.
And they
Or
all
like
go to
the,
sleep.
The naked game.
Like the red light, green light.
Yeah.
Naked.
And it's like they're like on the swing.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude falls in that nasty puddle.
Yeah. It comes out like yellow.
Yeah.
It's funny. There are like a few times where you can hear Takeshi genuinely laugh on camera,
Mm.
and it's funny because you can tell like he's like really getting a kick out of that scene.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole red light, green light stop. Like I feel like that was pure genuine.
Mm. It's like, you didn't have to be naked.
You didn't have to be naked.
You didn't have to take all your clothes off.
It's like a stupid idea. Like
Yeah.
pick up your clothes for red light, green light.
Yeah.
What? But yeah, I mean, it's overall, like, I think it is just a very sort of ends up being a lighthearted kind of screwball comedy movie. You know,
Mm.
I don't know if I'd see it again, but maybe not. I don't even think this over Sonatine. I don't. That's kind of hard actually. Maybe I'd choose Sonatine over this.
I think so too.
Yeah, but it's the same. He does like the fast forward scene again.
Mhm.
Like he kind of recreates some stitches that he has. Like when they're trying to put the can on top of him, and it's like this exaggerated scene, but it's like all fast forward, like reminiscent of when they were doing like the soldier fight on the beach sand kind of deal. So he has some, I guess, notable scenes that he does, and it just feels very like every time I watch this movie, it's like a budgeted student film,
Yeah.
in a funny kind of way, because he does like. I don't want to say experimental things, but he does have fun with some certain shots and scenes.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like does whatever the fuck he wants. So, but I think it's good. What do you have any overall sort of thoughts?
Yeah. I do feel like it could have been a little shorter. I felt like it
100%.
was a bit long. But overall, I think the beats. I like the beats within the movie. Myself felt a little flat, but that's just my own preference. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, Kikujiro definitely carried the movie hard.
It is his movie. I mean,
Yeah, it's
He
his
is the
name.
name
Yeah,
of the
so I
movie.
mean,
yeah.
obviously, but it's like a weird thing where he's the secondary character, but he's the main character kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is like, but he like himself, he never changes in the movie. Like
Mm.
if it's a coming of age about the kid, sure. But if Kikujiro is like the main character, arguably, like nothing changes ever about him.
Well, he does kind of have a more tender heart towards the kid. I don't know if that's
Sure.
changed necessarily,
Yeah.
but
He's gonna go back to being the same.
he is. I mean, yeah, like he's not like there's no like nothing crazy, right? Like it's not like a 360 change or something, like 180 change
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Like, the assumption is like once they go back to Tokyo, like
they're
life
kind of
resumes. as
doing their own
usual.
things and
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah.
So,
But yeah,
Again,
I
with
do
no money.
think that the kid has come through this journey, a a better developed human being, you know. I just think that run at the end, you know, kind of signifies his
You know,
his approach to life in a more enthusiastic way. Okay?
I like how running is the visual signifier of like change.
Well, like think
Like,
about
yeah.
it. In the whole movie in the beginning, he never really like runs. He's just walking, right? He's just walking through life. With
They
his-
ran away from the car that they crashed.
in the very beginning?
No, that was near the end with the tack.
Yeah, he ran.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about like the very beginning of the movie compared to the very end of the movie.
Well, he did run in the beginning too.
I mean, it's different though. You know what I mean? Like the way
the way that he ran.
yeah, look, you look at him at the in the you know you have that scene of him running and you see his back and the enthusiasm of the way that he's running. He's like, I'm free. You know, I'm free. You know, I'm a better person because of this experience.
Pure joy.
I find a little more hope in life. You know,
He's got a skip in his step. Yeah.
yeah. You know, in the beginning he's kind of sultry and
He's like,
not sultry, somber. You know,
One of those fuck this.
yeah. Even when he's like walking to the soccer thing, he's kind of like
Yeah, he's practicing by himself.
Yeah,
like
he's kinda- alone. You know, there's no joy in his life.
depresso espresso.
Yeah. And then, you know, at the end, he's kind of a little jolly little kid walking back, running back.
This is our Rotten Tomatoes review right here. Yeah. All right.
And even like when at the end when he waves to the traveling dude, much more happier waves. You know, bye.
Just his existence as a kid in general.
Yeah.
He regained his youth. You know, he regained his child
right, childlikeness,
innocence.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas in the beginning, he kind of feels more. I mean, he's still a child, but he's more.
He's got parent problems. You know, that's like adult things.
Yeah, there's more of a burden. I feel like he had in the beginning.
Yeah.
His little 5-year-old beginning.
His
He's
5-year-old
probably older than
beginning.
that, but you know,
Give
like
him credit.
he's you know,
Yeah.
there are certain things that is unresolved. Whereas at the
Uh-huh.
end, I think that he's come to terms with it more.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
The grandma was like, there's something about him that's.
But he's gonna be in trouble though as soon as he gets back home. He's like, "Where the hell did you go? Who are you with?
What did you do?
Why'd you almost get molested?"
You're never going back to Kikujiro again.
Yeah,
You're barred from hanging out with him.
and the wife. You're
And the
freaking
wife.
lying to me. Well, oh yeah, they went to the beach.
This crossed some relationships
Yeah.
for sure. Oh no. I did like the bike gambling scenes though, when he's like has like the magical numbers and they win him like a big a bet,
Yeah,
and then they go back and it's like, all right, give me some numbers. He's like 32, and they like you just see the board only,
yeah.
and it's like oh, and there's like a crowd like hey oh, which is a little dragged out. That has happened for quite a while,
Yeah.
but it is kind of funny.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I like that. Yeah, it was okay in the beginning, and then like near the end, you're like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, they're on that bit for a while.
Yeah.
They're on that bit for a long time. Because like the point is they use up all the money, right?
Yeah.
So they make the bets until they're dry.
Yeah.
So, and then they go. I think that's what it is. It's like if we cut that shorter, because they're not even on the adventure part at that point, but it's like close after that, or really after the hotel scene. If we cut that short, then we can expedite the movie a little bit.
Mhm.
Keep it going. But yeah, I mean, not bad. I do like Beat Takeshi. You know, sometimes it's a little weird, but that's him. That's his kind of things.
Yeah, I overall I think I like his style,
Mm.
and it's very distinct. Like you can tell for
Yeah.
sure. Like, oh, this is his movie.
Mm.
The way that it moves, like the pacing of it, the editing of it, the motifs in it.
Mm.
Yeah, even like the beginning like style, with the like angel like things coming out, and
Mm.
it gives a very I don't know. It's like a feeling that you have when you watch his movie.
Kenny Vokes the same.
Yeah, it kind of evokes that, and the music too.
Oh, bro. How did I almost ended this show without mentioning this. How could I? W for Joe Hisaishi, bro. W for the man himself.
I mean, the song I've listened to so many times.
Same. And I didn't know it came from this movie.
And the thing is, like, I associate it with different things now. That like watching this movie with that soundtrack felt very jarring for one.
Yes. I listened to it. I was like, this isn't Spirited Away.
Exactly. It felt very like it was so Joe that
It wasn't one of these.
it was so Joe that you're like, oh, in this movie.
yeah. That's.
I think that's kind of the detriment of having him as a composer on your movie, unless like it really, because it's so ingrained in people's heads that like it's like a Ghibli thing, right?
Right.
You're like you associate with it so hard that like with his style that when you listen to that music, like his style of music, unless it's a dramatic change from the way that he does it in Ghibli movies,
Right. Yeah.
you're like, oh, wow, oh, it's clearly you.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this movie. You know,
It's like if.
I'm not saying that it didn't fit, like right, like it's not like that. The music did not match the scene or like the moments and the beats, but you're just like, oh, that's really jarring.
And from the jump, it is really jarring. He's like, I mean, you hear Hisayashi's music, and immediately like this needs to be a Miyazaki film. It really is like if they're not paired, then Hisashi just is just uniquely like identified with Ghibli animation. And like this music, and like I said, unless he changes the style of his music, it'll always be like that.
Yeah, but thing is, like I've listened to I've seen other things that incorporated his music, but he changed kind of the style of the music, or like he the orchestral feel of a lot of his musics.
Yeah.
That like he changes, like he uses different instruments or like different things that really like change the way that you kind of think about that music.
Yeah.
And that works. Like it works really well. Like actually like a lot of those like songs and soundtracks that I listen to, I love. Like I might not necessarily like the thing, the drama or whatever itself, but I really love the music regardless.
Right.
But here it's like the music, I listen to it before I watch this movie.
Same.
And so I have a different idea of what this music is, kind of is in my head and is in my heart.
What movie would be for that song is different than what you're watching.
What I'm watching. Yeah, that's why it felt so jarring.
Yeah.
But it's not like it was a bad choice. I don't think, it felt really quite well. I think it, a lot of the moments kind of had that feeling to it, but I was just like, oh, that's different, very different from what I had imagined,
At first it's like, why is this song here?
Yeah.
You're like, oh wait, that's the soundtrack to this? Huh? What? It is really good though. It is an awesome theme. I do think there's like one version of it that's like really slow, like when it's more on like the sad parts. There's one scene. Oh, I think it's the scene where they're on the bus stop, like on that road. And remember, it's like at night and it's raining outside and they're like stuck in there. There's like the theme, but it's really like slowed down, like it's like all piano. I think that version worked really perfectly with the movie in general, and it kind of sat in line. That was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah,
but the composition just is like a force of nature on its own, but it's really good. Yeah,
and that's like the only one you hear.
It is the same.
So
it is the same.
So it's very, one note.
You hear that melody, you'll hear it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a nice surprise addition to the movie. At least, yeah, it's pretty good. Congrats, W for Joe. Joe. Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible movie, but it's good. Yeah. But next week, what will be continuing on? Another, probably more well-known movie. I think if anybody knows, like Asian movies, this is one of the top ones that I haven't seen, but I do hear from like a lot of other people and like directors and things. A lot of people like this movie, kind of use it as inspiration. Called Yi, YI. It's Canada. This is same year actually. I think 2000. Yep. This is a Taiwanese movie by Edward Yang. Centered around a struggle engineer named MJ and 3 generations of middle-class Taiwanese families in Tapai. I know it's like a... It's been a while since I've seen the trailer, but I think it's like a multi-narrative kind of movie. So it kind of explores different, I guess, families of different things. So yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of good things about this movie, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. You've never seen this before, right?
Nope.
Have you heard of this movie before?
I mean, I've heard of Edward Yang. Like I've watched some of his movies. He's part of the new Taiwanese cinema wave. Yeah.
What else has he done? Let me see. I don't know if I've seen anything else. A Brighter Summer Day. Did we watch that one?
No.
No, we haven't seen this.
Not on the podcast.
Oh no, yeah, no. I'm thinking this was another movie. That's why. I've never seen any of his movies, actually. That would be interesting. But yeah, that'll be next week. Next week will be Yi. And then we will kind of over the hill. We're almost done with the series. So thank you guys for listening. Yi next week. And we will see you then. Peace.
Bye.